Board. Okay, and I'm gonna unmute my friend Deanna Falchook. So welcome to the call, everyone. I'm really super excited. This is week 5 of our Race to Rank Advance, and I'm so thrilled to invite Deanna to speak. I met Deanna 4 years ago when I started with this company. And it was funny, we were kind of neck and neck. So anytime I hit a promotion, I always saw her name next to mine. And I was like, who is this lady? And it was on one of our trips that I got to sit down and meet her and really get to know her. And she really is quite spectacular. Her and her husband were pretty famous musicians. And you know, things got a little tough in the music industry, and I know Ed came from the mortgage industry, and you know, the economy kind of tanks and your business suffers. And Deanna, I don't know if you guys know, but she is a huge advocate for the adoption movement. And when she told me the story about how she brought these international children into her home to give them a better life, and then at the end of the day, she wasn't giving them a better life. She was struggling to feed them. She was suffering. She felt tremendous maternal guilt that, you know, she brought these kids into her home and wasn't able to give them the life they deserved. And she prayed for a wellness solution to feed her kids best food on the planet. And that's how she discovered isogenics. I'm very proud to say that Deanna and I won a beautiful trip to Paris and Rome with the founders of our company. She hit President's Quest Women of Isogenics. She is incredible. She is an Isogenics millionaire. And this all happened in 4 years. So welcome to the call, and I'm so, so blessed to call you my friend, and thank you so much for giving us your time.
I love you, Angela. I'll never forget that first time we sat down and everybody had left. I think it was at Top Achievers the first time. Was that what it was? And I saw you and I was like, hey, I'm staying an extra day too. And then I told you the story of my Ukrainian son and my messed up Russian.
Yeah, and my family came here from Ukraine, so we had a lot in common, and from that day I had a lot of admiration for you. It takes a lot of courage to adopt a child from another country, especially a child who was HIV positive, who was really going through the orphanages and going through the systems. And you know, it was a judge that told you that had it not been for you, that this kid probably wouldn't have made it. And it was that day that I just fell in love with you. You and your husband have a piece of my heart. So share with everyone on the call a little bit of your story.
Well, my husband and I had been musicians, and we had been living in New York and working in New York with a big band, very successful big band that was mine. It was called the Deanna Jones, because that's my maiden name, orchestra, and played a lot of celebrity parties, very successful, like you said. Really, I mean, pretty much the top band in New York City. But around 2007, 2008, around 2007, I had already adopted. I had 2 children by birth. I had adopted 1 child from Guatemala, and then we adopted 3 kids from Ethiopia, because we were just really felt like we were getting tired of being surrounded by the opulence and feeling like we weren't really giving back. So at the end of the day, even though we had been making really good money because we were like the top band in New York, we were empty. We didn't feel, you know, so we started adopting, and it was really beautiful. But then the economy tanked in 2008. We had moved down to North Carolina, and financially things were slowing down. And at the same time, I did not want to reinvent the wheel, because I knew I wanted something different. I wanted to get from this place where it's all money but no heart into a place where I could make money doing something that I loved and contributing and giving back. But I had no idea what that would even be. It was just, kind of like a faith walk on my part, like a leap of faith. But I kept doing these gigs here and there, but the economy had slowed down, our work slowed down, and we didn't go back to try to rebuild it, even though that may have been the most practical thing, I still believed that something would happen. But in between the time that it didn't happen, my husband was working 2 jobs. He had been a musician. Now he was like, we were making like 50 grand a year for like a family of 9, you know, which was not all that great. But anyhow, in 2011, things were really tight, but I heard about Alec in the Ukraine, and I call him the unplanned adoption. And it's relevant to my Isagenix story because it was through his adoption that I really found Isagenix. So he was HIV positive. He was labeled invalid at birth because that's what they do. He had been in an orphanage his entire life in this one little wing of a baby home. When they graduate from the baby home at the age of 5, they move into an internat, and some of these internats are basically the equivalent of adult mental institutions where kids get beaten up. They don't live because they get abused to death. Basically. I didn't want to believe that he was in a region that would do that to him. So, but as it would come, we were advocating for him. Nobody was going to adopt him, and then all of these amazing things happened, where we were like, all right, we're going to go. And we had this huge network of people in adoption now, because we had become adoption advocates via social media, and people were helping to contribute to the adoption. We found the money. My friend Carolyn took money out of her tax refund to give us $3,000 for the adoption. So we go over to adopt him, and when we got there, like you said, the social worker of the region came over to my facilitator and said, I'm really glad that, you know, your client is so happy, but I need to tell you, because I was happy with him being okay and not having been moved on, I need to tell you that we've seen children as healthy as him be dead within 6 months of of being moved into the place that we were going to move him to. So at that point, I knew that we had done the right thing, you know, by going and adopting him. But we came back, and financially things were worse, and we were struggling. And so for a couple of years, we were really having a hard time. But it got to the point where we were so broke. My kids were on, they qualified for school lunches. We were on Medicaid, or they were on Medicaid. And we were supplementing our diet with food that was rejected from food pantries. And this woman this Catholic woman who would go around, you know, getting expired food from grocery stores, she would let us sort of add this to our diet. So it was also during this time that I started to research nutrition, because I had this child who had been HIV positive, and I wanted his immune system to be really strong. And so Carolyn and I were going back and forth with all this science, and we didn't think that anything on the planet actually existed like what we had been researching, which was these New Zealand whey proteins that we didn't think came all together. They had to have macronutrients, amino acids, all this stuff. And so it was just internalizing it between her and I didn't tell anybody else. And then one day I was just devastated because I couldn't buy a pair of shoes for my son. And like you mentioned it, I called out to God. I said this unbelievable prayer, where I call it my snotty prayer, in the car. And it was literally like a day or two after that somebody introduced me to Isagenix, and I was an expert. And I hadn't told anybody I was even looking for shakes except for Carolyn, and I grilled them, and everything lined up. But I hated the idea of doing network marketing. So even though I had prayed for it and everything lined up, for a minute I was like, yeah, but would that be an answer to a prayer, a network marketing model? But I kept challenging my questions, challenging my doubts, and I said, I'm going to go for this. And the first person that I set up an account with was my friend Carolyn. It was 15 kids who had originally donated her $3,000 in my adoption. This time she took money out of her tax refund to pay for her President's Pack, or her value pack. And we just realized as we started using these products that what we thought was individual to ourselves, lack of money after adoption, children who had been adopted, orphans from, they call them adverse, I mean, you were in social work, so you know this phrase, adverse childhood experiences, really needed better nutrition, and coming to America and eating like, junk and orange juice and cereals filled with stuff is not going to really help them. So all of this combined and this vision that we cast for our team really took our team into this whole new level. And we, like you said, we earned, I earned $100,000 in 6 months. I earned my $1 million in a little bit over 3.5 years, right after you. And actually, Carolyn became a millionaire first. So, but we became millionaires within 2 weeks of each other, which was incredible. So, you apply yourself, you have a lot of faith, and you just, you work this business and you become determined. We used a lot of social media. We hit every single goal that we set for ourselves. We hit that, and we're just continuing to persevere. We've had some struggles, and we've had some challenges, just like everybody has. There have been times when the business is like this. There's times when it's like that. But we're in this long term because we see this company as being, there's no other company that would be as compatible to us as Isagenix, because of the vision statement of wanting to transform world health and become the largest health and wellness company in the world. That lines up with us, who, we want to kind of get rid of the entire global orphan crisis. So how do we do that? But by helping people get healthy globally.
I love it. And you got to do it with your best friends.
And with a lot of inspiring stories. Obviously, there's inspiring stories all through Isagenix, but when you see people take their money and go, oh, by the way, I'm going to go off to China and adopt 2 children from dying rooms. I don't know if you even know they exist, but they put children in rooms to just cry and die, So, when you know that your money is being like taken and put toward that, and it could seem like it's shakes and greens and vitamins, but it's helping a family to give back. And then when they get their kids back, sometimes they're having to spoon feed them because they had been left there to starve. And now they're, taking in, they're relearning how to eat. Yeah. With this stuff. I mean, it's just we addressed a problem that once you realize, like, adoption and nutrition, nobody talked about it. And yet now when you talk about it, it's like, it's one of those things where you're like, of course you have to talk about that. Of course it makes sense that they would go together. But up until 2013, nobody was talking about that until we dove into Isagenix.
Yeah. And what I think is that this has to be something greater than us.
Yeah.
I know that it starts for most of us as a personal journey, whether you're trying to get your husband healthy or whether you're trying to lose weight, but through your own personal goals, when you experience that, holy cow, this is amazing moment, that's when you begin sharing selflessly. And I know that for most of us, we did not come into this for the business. In fact, many of us, fell to that stigma, like, ooh, network marketing. I don't know if I want to have anything to do with that. It's kind of sketchy. People ask me if I'm involved in a pyramid scheme, but it took time to grow, and I've seen how much you've grown. I mean, you had belief in the products because of the research that you've done.
Yeah.
And that research is available to all of us. Put it in your body. See what it does for you. Go to isaproduct.com. Learn about it. We have third-party testing. Now we have science to back up.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. They have it covered on every different angle. I mean, all the different scientific studies, the quality of talent that they have as far as their nutritionists and the doctors and and John Anderson. I mean, it's just genius, and it should give us all a sense of security, knowing that they've really thought about this and put it together well.
Yeah. How did you start building the belief in yourself? because I've seen so many people in my organization, and I'm sure that you've seen in yours, you know, people give it a little bit of extra of effort, and then they're like, you know what, this is not for me. I can't do this. Everyone I talk to says no. I want to ask, because you and I love numbers.
Yeah.
We're like numbers girls. Logistically speaking, how many people do you feel you've spoken to?
Oh my gosh, Angela.
That's a toughie.
I mean, and the numbers have gone up because I have all these new little things that I'm doing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the enroller that you are, but I've probably enrolled, I don't know, 200 or 300 people. So maybe more. I don't really know. So I would probably say for that, I've had to at least have spoken to 5,000, 10,000 people, maybe not 10, but maybe, I've spoken to thousands of people. Now, I've had conversations with people. I utilize messaging. I utilize, emails, texts, every type of communication. I believe we need to be a well-rounded network marketer. So yes, you have to take a lot of rejection and just keep going and keep going and keep going. I mean, I'm talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, your conversations can be different based on, I'm asking a lot of questions. I've learned, in the beginning when people would say, tell me more, Carolyn and I, we were hot messes. We would just cut and paste like these long paragraphs. Sometimes the wrong name would be in it.
I'm still doing that.
It's so bad. So now I tell people, if somebody's saying more, ask more questions. Don't tell them more. Go to the private message, ask them questions, then tell them something. So tell me more means ask them questions because you want to be prepped. Because I had done sales for my entertainment company. That's how I was able to get those big gigs, was that I was experienced at sales, but it was always like getting to know who they were so then I could pull out of my pocket what they wanted to hear. So, I mean, I hate to break it down that way, but it really is true. We can't assume that somebody who's 300 pounds, their pain point is really just their weight. It may not be that at all. They may be exhausted, and the reason why they gain so much weight is because they've been popping back diet sodas and everything, and you know what I'm saying? Or they need more money and they were depressed, whatever. So ask more questions.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that the more you do it, the more courageous and brave you become. And people think that it's like you talk to 10 people, you'll sign up 10 people and you'll make $10 million. But it really doesn't work like that. And, Deanna's spoken, let's say 5,000 people, has enrolled, 200 of them, less than 5%. And it's the same statistics for me. If I've spoken to 4,000 people and have signed up 600 of them, I mean, think of how many people are saying no. And I think that you have to develop a tougher skin, and you have to just be willing to accept that no is not N-O. No is that they simply don't K-N-O-W like Jimmy Smith says.
I love that.
Know.
You don't know. And then the other thing that I like to tell people that they haven't heard sort of my little perspective on this, I think that the reason why myself and Carolyn and a handful of people who have gone into Ethiopia, who have gone to Guatemala, who have gone to these countries, adopted kids that basically spit at you, start scratching you, like they don't want you. Some of them are like going out of their minds, because they're so stressed, right? So my attitude is like, I can handle somebody saying no when I go, would you like my shakes? I mean, it's not like, the end of the world type of stuff. It's not like that type of rejection. We can move on and continue to talk to people and understand that what are we doing? We're introducing them to something amazing. And oftentimes what you just said is so true. They just don't know. They don't have the information yet. So we need to give them the information properly and hopefully, with enough time that we have them in our presence, but to also understand we need thicker skin for this rejection. I've had so many people who say, well, I've talked to several people, but they've talked to 5 people.
Yeah.
They've talked to 5 people and they've thrown the towel in and they're depressed because they had all this hope, but they didn't have the staying power. You need to be willing to get kicked down. Success has a lot to do with failure. I'm sorry, but it's like, are you gonna stay in the game?
Yes, absolutely. So tell me, how do you stay in the game? Because now you're a family of 9. You have a boatload of kids. I can't handle 2. I'm not kidding. I don't know how you handle 7. They were fighting over who broke it. The baby had a little branch and Isabella broke her branch, and I had to run in my office and glue her branch, and my kids are crazy. But every day I'm committed to my business, and whether I have to sneak in the bathroom and send 10 messages, or whether I have to ask my husband and say, please, for the love of God, take them off my hands so I can do a little work. But it really is putting in the work. So how do you, as busy as you are, and your kids are range from age, how old is Alec now?
11. He's 11.
11. So from 11, I mean, all the way to 9.
I have a lot of teenagers now. 11, 12, 14, 15, 18, 19, and then I think I forgot somebody. My oldest is married.
Yeah. So how do you stay committed? How do you make the time? What are your daily practices?
Okay, the practical stuff is easier because everything can be portable. We've got the phone, we've got the laptop, we've got our mouths, we can talk to people. So that's easier. Sometimes it's just, you have to tweak your mindset. Like, I have to work on that a lot, because in the beginning, in my mind, I thought, okay, I own my own business, so I have to be businesswoman-ish. So that would mean, like, if my kids are screaming, I need to be, oh my gosh, I've got to be in a separate room. I've got to create it like it's an office. I had to shift and go, you know what? I'm talking to a mom. My kid's really not interrupting me. She's just being a little loud in the corner. I can do this while my kids are here. I can return the call. Look, I constantly am just evaluating the situation, but not I take my kids with us. Angela, you're the expert at bringing your kids with you. Engage your children. Your children will start telling you who needs to maybe have more energy, or who needs the happy cleanse at school. And so I just involve them, but sometimes it is hard, because to be honest, we can all just say, okay, it's so-and-so has 8 kids, so-and-so has 15 kids, they're doing it. But it really is hard. It would be a lot easier to be able to do this if I was probably not impeded by my kids in some ways. But on the other hand, I also wouldn't have soccer moms to talk to. I wouldn't have the PTA to go to. You have to look at everything as an opportunity rather than a detriment. So it's just mindset. I tell people just to really kind of focus on the positives. I'm learning what my strengths and weaknesses are, and I'm working on them. I can be really consistent. Really being able to look at yourself and go, okay, I'm really good at that, and I'm really awful at that. What can I work on? Rather than accepting the fact that you may be deficient in an area, you're not too old to improve on that. So I'm working on some things.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, where do you create most of your leads? For people who are new, welcome Jeff. He's a brand new guy. I'm so proud of you for jumping on the call. So for people that are brand spanking new, where do you create leads? How do you meet people? How do you, some people are like, oh, Facebook is dead, but you and I both know if Facebook was our only lead source, it would take me 20 years to hit millionaire. You got to go out there and you got to work it.
Yeah. Okay. So regarding social media, things have changed. But it's all an attitude. My Facebook personal page is maxed out, but I'm still working it because a lot of people haven't, set up their accounts with me. And then I'm also working on messaging people and connecting with people on Instagram. But like you said, you have to talk to people, call people, meet new people face to face. I know some people are really proud about the fact that they've enrolled everybody from Facebook, but I aspire to be a really good network marketer. I want to be able to have the skill set that some of, like, some people that I know that are so great at just talking to people and immediately like setting up their accounts. So you have to kind of be more holistic about it and do everything. But things were a little bit easier in the beginning on Facebook. I don't know. I think it's a combination of the fact that I was just out of the gate running and nobody had heard me promote anything before. So they were all like, what is that? And then number two, I do know that the algorithms changed a bit, but that doesn't mean that we need to be, like all upset about it. I go to groups a lot. I like to go onto Facebook groups. I like to go in places that I know all of you wouldn't be. And, I won't go to just another network marketing, like website where I know everybody's clumping together.
Well, I have to tell you something very funny. All of a sudden, I see a suggested group. It was called Moving to Mexico. And I saw Victoria in there. I saw Sophia in there. I saw half my team in there. I'm like, you guys are leaving? And nobody told me you were moving to Mexico. Everyone was in this Moving to Mexico group. And I thought,
oh God, hey, I know what they're doing. They're trying to find their people from Mexico.
That's right. That's right.
Totally. Well, I'll tell you just something a little bit funny. So I have, I'm related to like royalty in the UK, right? So I joined some groups about, kind of like the genealogy. And that's how I met a handful of people over in the UK. I also met a guy. I mean, like I said, I do everything. I do a farmer's market where we pay $30 on a Sunday. We're not doing it in the summer, but Mark and I will put up a table. I met this guy. He's from the UK. His name's Rick. His wife's a Zumba instructor. I took his name down. This is before it even opened. He didn't respond. Months later, he responded. So, like I said, look at your communities. Be out there in your community. Go to Meetup, meetup.com, and find a group to hang out with. On Facebook, look for groups in your community. But also just form relationships. Just form relationships. I love people. If you don't love people, find a way to love them. Because this is a business where we should be loving people.
Absolutely. And you know what? Deanna got much, much better. I mean, I've seen her transform completely over the course of 4 years, as far as your confidence, your leadership skills. Just, you're an incredible, incredible person. And I'm so, so proud of you. What you've done for your family is magnificent. What you've done for those kids. I follow your family on Facebook like as if they were my own. And every time I see one of your girls going to a social, or Matea doing something amazing, I just think what an incredible life you've given for Mark and your kids. And it's magnificent.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what it's all about, Angela. And I know that you know that too. That we are in this business so that we can savor these moments. I'm discovering that the more I spend time savoring the moments, it's like those are the times when I get more leads. And you would think it's the opposite, because we get so much pressure thinking, okay, you have to do this, do this, do this. And granted, I'm not telling anybody to slough off, but really, I mean, remember why you're doing it, and your heart will shine through, and you will be attracting things to you. So I'm trying to just really absorb the time that I have with my kids and play it out. And oftentimes I am showing it on Facebook and also in Instagram stories. I do that a lot now. I just moved from Snapchat over to Instagram stories.
Awesome. So Facebook Live is a big thing. Videos are a big thing. So we kind of have to get comfortable with doing that. Yes. So I want to bring Kelli Calabrese into the conversation. And I want to bring Ed Golden into the conversation. I don't see you, Ed, but mute. Oh, there he is. There he is. So,
so oh, there he is. I love his hat.
So I really wanted to introduce you guys to Kelli Calabrese. Kelli has been my friend since I came to Isagenix. Kelli is not someone that someone like me would have ever met or been friends with outside of Isagenix. First of all, she's a fitness guru. I am not. Kelli has done TV, radio. She's an incredible person. She's done a lot of TV. She's worked with some very famous people. She was up for the role of Jillian Michaels in The Biggest Loser, and I am so happy that she didn't go that way, and instead she's here with Isagenix. And Kelli really started a magnificent project called Mom and Dadpreneurs, and it really talks about the secrets and the success stories. There's our book. I'm so proud. Kelli invited Ed and I to participate, and Laura Hernandez. And, you know, it's only fitting that I bring you into this conversation, Kelli. First of all, thank you for giving myself and so many others the platform and the opportunity to share our story. I didn't make a penny off the book. My only hope is that someone will read my story and believe in themselves that they too have the power to do this. So let's talk about a little bit of what some success tips. I want to know from you guys, for all the people on the call, what is the key to being successful? What are the key tips into really giving this an honest go and making this happen? You know, there's a lot of people that try and fail, and I don't want that to be the case for anyone in this group. So what's your takes on after reading all those stories and editing and publishing all these magnificent stories, what do the successful people have in common?
That's a great question, Andrew, and thanks for having me on the call again. And your story and Deanna's story are honestly two of my favorites. I mean, when I heard them both from the big stage, there was not a dry eye in the room. I mean, your stories are so compelling. So I hope everyone is sharing their stories because it's amazing. Share your own story and borrow from these other amazing stories. So that's one tip. You know, today is Memorial Day, so I got my hat, I got my camel on. You can see my camel. You know, what made me think about today being Memorial Day? My son is about to be 17. We do come from a military family, so does my husband's family. Thinking about my 17-year-old son possibly going off to I mean, I can't even imagine the hearts of the moms and the dads. I mean, my goodness, today is about, you know, the families, the ones left behind of the ones who gave it all. But what it makes me realize is today is all we have. It is all we're promised. This moment will never happen again. This call with these people on it will never happen again. So if all that we get is today, stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. There's only 4 things we can do with our time. We can start things, we can stop things, we can do more of something, and we can do less of something. I learned that about 12 years ago from Brian Tracy, and it changed everything for me. And so successful people, their tips include being conscious of how they spend their moments. And we get sucked in sometimes to social media. Before you know it, we're watching, you know, cat videos and the Kardashians, and, you know, the day goes by, you're like, what happened? I just checked my phone and, you know, 4 hours went by. We have to be planning our time, conscious of our time, committed to our time. We need to schedule our Isagenix time. And when we do, we have to be intentional about it. We need to be doing the income-producing activities with the Isagenix time we have. Whether it's an hour a day, 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, we need to focus on the income-producing activities. And you need to always be evaluating that. Stop and check yourself. Am I doing things that are generating leads? That's one of the income-producing activities. What am I doing to generate leads? And I've been following Deanna. She's doing some amazing things with social media, and she has systems in place now that make it a little bit easier to generate leads. So systems are important. But are you asking for referrals? Are you asking people? That's what I did today. My son had a 2-hour baseball game, and while he was, you know, sitting in the dugout in between innings, I was texting people asking for leads, saying, hey, there's this amazing new promotion. Are you doing that? Clubs, schools, PTA, Bible study. I mean, everywhere. Where are the leads? Where are your referrals? Are you in a bike club? If you're not, join an exercise class. Sometimes you need to get out from behind your computer. This is a business of relationships. So you need to love people, learn to love people, connect with people. So lead generation. If you're not doing that, you're not in business. You need to have people to talk to. Find a way to do that. I've never bought leads before. I know some people do, but you need to start somewhere. The second thing, once you have the leads, is you need to be presenting to these people. Sometimes many times, but how do you present? You tell your story, just like Angela, you've heard her story, and Deanna's story, and Laura, and many of the other stories Drew on this call. Launch parties, Zoom calls, Google Hangouts. I mean, there's so many different ways to present. In line at the grocery store. You need to constantly be letting people know this is a noisy, busy world. You need to be the bright, shiny thing that stands out and gets their attention among all the chaos. And if you're not out there presenting over and over and over, Lynn Hagedorn will say, how many times did you tell your story today? She's told it thousands. So we need to be getting leads and then presenting to those leads. The third thing is when you present to them, you need to finish with a call to action. You need to tell them what to do. Are you ready to get started? Which pack is better for you? Are you keeping your options open to this or this? You need to ask them. Can we set you up for success today? If you're not asking that question, you really kind of wasted your time and theirs. You have to have a call to action. And, we've all heard Jimmy Smith say this, the fortune is in the follow-up. And I'll share a few quick statistics with you. 80% of sales happen after how many? 5 follow-ups. The average person doesn't follow up more than once. It's taken at least 5 for 80% of sales. Most people are doing 1 or 2. Follow up on web leads within 5 minutes. So if you see someone post and goes, wow, I didn't know Isogenics said skincare. I didn't know, wow, what's that shake you're drinking? Or within quick 5 minutes. I can't tell you how many people have been so impressed that within a couple of moments of them posting, I'm going, oh my goodness, Vanessa, that's awesome that, you want to lose weight with your daughter. How can I help you? And they're like, wow, a real person called me. Follow up and follow up fast. Faster is better. And the repeat follow-ups, faster is better. So don't let 5 months go by. Call them with an appointment quickly. Well, how about what time on Wednesday? What time will you watch the video? Quicker is better. The more time that goes by, the more awkward it is for you. And honestly, if they're sincerely interested, they're going to be thankful that you followed up. Think about how distracted you get with things that you might want, but until someone calls and go, oh, hey, were you ready to sign up for that gym membership today? Oh, yes, I meant to do that. So you need to do that. Let's see, nurtured leads make up for 47% of larger purchases. That means if you follow up with them and you get to know them, you connect with them, you nurture them, not only will they buy more often, but when they do, they'll purchase with a larger pack. So you need to nurture your people. Think bigger. The more time you spend with them, the more you're investing in them, the more they will know, like, trust, and invest in you. You need to be building that list. So once you're starting to make these connections with these leads and you're presenting and you're following up, have a system. Put them all in one place. Have a book, have an email list. There you go. You got she's got her Facebook there. I've got a book. I've got it electronically going into an emails. Funnels, create systems so that it gets easier to follow up. Let's see, 90% of customers will refer if you ask them. So that's what I did today, but only 11% of us are asking for referrals. If you call a friend and say, oh my goodness, there's an amazing promotion. I'm trying to win 4 days at the Venetian with $200 in spending money, and I get to meet the owners of my company. Can you think of anyone who's interested in weight loss, energy, performance, youthful aging, rejuvenated skin, or making some extra money? I would love to help them. And you know what? If your neighbor knocked on your door and said that, you'd want to help them. And then here's a little tip. When they give you a name, go, that's awesome. Who else do you know? And they'll start thinking. And then you're like, okay, good. Susie Smith, that's great. Who else do you know? And then they start thinking of more people. And you might get 5 or 6 names from someone. So ask. So 90% of sales will happen because you follow up. Don't think you're bothering someone. Lisa DeMeo says, until someone calls me and says, Lisa, never, ever, ever, ever call me again and talk to me about Isagenix. If you do, I will hang up on you. She goes, until that happens, I keep dripping on them. I keep mentioning it. Like, oh, hey, since we last spoke 30 days ago, I've helped 12 ladies get started and lose 8 pounds. How's your weight going? Just keep dripping. Just keep calling. And you, as Deanna said, you need to have a tough mindset. You need to be able to take the rejection and move on. Some people just have their mind made up before you even have a conversation with them, and they're just not ready. I may have talked before about a readiness to change scale. There's some people, like, for example, with smoking, who believe smoking is good for them. And then there's other people who are just really on the verge of quitting smoking. So we might catch someone who's just not even close to considering quitting, and that's okay. Just keep coming back and checking in. And Amanda, I can keep going. I know you want to get Ed in. It's getting late, so I'll stop there.
Okay. You may or may not have called me Amanda. I'm not sure, but that's
Amanda?
okay.
Angela? Oh my goodness.
But
Okay.
she's on a roll, so I will totally answer to Amanda.
I get excited.
If we're good, I will answer to Amanda.
Sorry, Angela, I love you.
So, and let's talk about the promotion. Ed Golden, before you get into the promotion,
Woo-hoo!
let's talk a little bit. What are some things that have worked for you in your business? What do you think has propelled you? What do you think is the most beneficial thing that you can share with the group tonight? I know we always talk about coachability and how important that is. And for me, that's probably one of the important things that I had going for me. I was a sponge. I was willing to learn from anyone and everyone until I got it, until I figured it out. And some stuff, I still don't got it. I'm still trying, but I'm always open to listen. So what are some top tips from you?
Yeah, well, definitely, be coachable. Angela tells me to do some things I so don't want to do. I think it's a dumb idea, but I do it, right? Just do it. There's only 2 things that can happen. It can work or it can't work, right? That's it. Those are your only 2 options. But I think, we're really, when I saw my business go, to higher levels is when I found belief in network marketing, one, but also belief in myself that my family deserves this, right? Better. Some of you know my story. I've always worked hard, but never smart. And so I truly believe when you put yourself 100% in, nothing will stop you. There's no failing in network marketing. I mean, Kelly's gone over the numbers over and over and over. And I think last week she even sent me something that 90% of people that stay in and think about this, 90% of people that stay in network marketing for over 10 years make $1 million, 7 figures, right? Now, guys, if you're in network marketing and you're here in Isagenix, you're not working 40, 50, 60-hour days. You're not, right, Deanna? We don't do that, but think of the money that you can make. So take your own belief and believe in this, $185 billion industry, and be there 100%. And once you do that, it's just over. We just recently moved to the suburbs and people ask what I do. And I love saying I'm a network marketer, right? I love it. It's great. These are people that are coming to my house to give me estimates that are working 10, 11-hour days. And I tell them I'm a network marketer. And some say, oh, that's that pyramid thing. And I say, oh, it's the best thing. That's my response. And, and if you're not there, get there. And one of the things I'll get you there is events that you have to go. So those are my kind of, must. Believe in yourself, believe in the industry, and get yourself to events, especially if you're not at that belief level.
Yeah, I read your chapter today in Kelly's book and how magnificent it was. And the one part that stuck out for me in your section of the book was when you said, after your wife had the baby, you saw the pain in her eyes and how much she didn't want to go back to work and leave the baby. And that pulled on me, because why wouldn't people share this opportunity? There's so many moms that would rather be doing things differently. There's so many personal trainers. There's so many people that are working corporate America that would want more options, that would want more choices. Good Lord, I wish somebody told me about this 20 years ago and said, Ange, we have a better way. I wound up going to school. You know, all older parents, immigrant parents, they say you've got to get a good education, right? And what happens when you do your 4-year degree? My dad said, you need more education. I went for my master's. I got my master's. And then I wound up being a caseworker, making $500-600 a week with over $70,000 in student loans. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. And to think that we have a better way, our only task at hand is to share the story with others. That's it. Some will, some won't. Just find people to talk to. There's humans everywhere. Stop being afraid of what people will think. You know, I posted in a group today. It was a group called Healthy Cooking. And listen, there's haters everywhere. I posted in a group, I said, we're running a Memorial Day challenge, and one person commented and she goes, look, there's another troll. I wish she would go away with her poison, with her poisonous isogenics. And I think the old me would have been like, but now,
come on.
It was so easy. Watch this. Watch. It's one simple step. I took my finger and I went block and delete. Like that. Can everyone do that? Block and delete. Let me see the fingers. Block and delete. And I went on. The old me would have had to fight and say, I'm going to show her my paycheck. I'm going to show her the ingredient. You know, the new me, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I believe in what I do. I'm doing a great, great service for other people. And that's all that matters. And if somebody doesn't get it, you know what? It's not their time. I feel bad that someone like this is so close-minded that she doesn't have a positive circle. You think she's meeting with 60 people on a Monday night, talking about winning a free trip to Vegas? You think she's learning from a woman who's adopted 7 international kids all over the world living in Disney World now? I mean, you know what, guys? We are blessed with something special. And in the beginning, you will lose a little bit of social esteem. Not because there's anything wrong with you, because people don't know about it. That's why it's our job to tell them. And tell them over and over and over. And that's what I do. And my favorite quote, and I say it all the time, Bill Britt, billionaire with Amway, said, I simply showed the plan to 900 people. Of those 900 people, 300 said yes. Out of those 300, 30 did anything at all. And out of those 30, 2 made me the fortune that I have today. You don't have to sign up everybody. You just need a few good eggs like you. That's it. That's it. So I'm so proud of you all for being on here. Let's talk about the promotion. Ed, do you want to? Woo-hoo, we're going to Vegas.
Come on, baby.
I'm going to pull it up for you, Ed. Can you see it?
Yeah, I already know it, so I don't care what you pull up.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, so guys, you know, they announced this a couple weeks ago that they were going to do this, start June 1, but I guess all the hype, it's in effect now. Full effect, any enrollments that you guys put in, they count towards this. So 5 to 7 new members, over 150 BV. Guys, this isn't like business builder pack or value pack you have to enroll. Just get some shakes into your friends. That's it. Shakes, you know, you do it, $200 for that. That's great. You know, I'm staying for free in Vegas. I don't care what anybody says. I will find my 8 or 9 people. It's very simple if you just put the work or effort into it. Think about it, guys. 2 people a week that just want to feel better, you stay in Vegas for free, 4 nights. If you don't have tickets to Celebration, get them because I think Story said a couple weeks ago there was only like 2,000 left, so I know there's probably only a few left. Get your tickets, get them tonight if you don't have them so you don't miss out. And guys, listen, if you've never met the Cougars, you're truly missing out. You know, these aren't, you know, your typical CEO or founders of corporate. These are real people that, you know, you interact with and communicate with, and they're amazing what they do. So 10 new members, you go to Vegas, you get to hang out with the Cougars, get special recognition, which, you know, if you guys have never been recognized in Isogenics, it's one of the most amazing things. You know, it's not just they call your name out, and, you know, they truly do amazing things. So, you know, Kelly and Deanna talked about, Angela talked about, go into action, right? Income producing activity. That's all this is. I mean, look at it, 150 BV. Guys, it's not that much. If you talk to 3 people a day, 15 people a week, 60 a month, you're going to get to meet the Cougars. That's how the numbers work.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an amazing promotion. So as of May 29th, we begin. So number 1, register for celebration. Number 2, make your contact list. Enroll 2 to 3 new members a week. And if you enroll 5 to 7 new members for the month of June, you get 200 spending cash. If you enroll 8 to 9 new members, you get 4 nights at the Venetian/Palazzo and the $200. And if you enroll 10 new members for the month of June, you're going to get $200. You're going to get 4 nights at the Venetian, and you get to meet and chat with Jim and Kathy. But guys, this adds up to a lot of money. So this is the volume. This is the consultant. This is the bonus. This is the value of the stay. This is the photo with Jim and Kathy. So, I mean, we're talking about almost $4,000 for the boom in June. For every 5 you enroll, you get the free vitamins. And they can be either preferred or associate. It doesn't matter. The only qualification that you need is to have a ticket to celebration. And quite frankly, if you are serious about growing your business, you need to be at Tony Robbins. You need to be at Celebration. I mean, they brought in Tony Robbins as a keynote speaker. He charges thousands and thousands of dollars. And Isogenics brought him to us for free. I mean, it's magnificent. You're going to get to meet millionaires like Deanna. You're going to get to see new millionaires on stage. You get to lock arms and bond with so many people. And what Celebration does for you is, number 1, it builds your belief in the compensation plan. When the founder of the company stands on stage and single-handedly discusses how he created our compensation plan with the one thing in mind is to create more 6- and 7-figure income earners. Most companies, they take away. If you build 4 levels down, or if somebody exceeds you, you lose them. Not in Isogenics. Every single person that you enroll, and their mother and their father and their sister and their brother and their friends, every single person is underneath you. I'm talking, you can have 800 people underneath you, and anytime one of those people orders a shake, you get paid. You don't lose anyone. They can be in another country, in another age group, in another dimension. You're still getting paid. So it's going to help build belief in the compensation plan. Number 2, you're going to find belief in this industry. When you see so many ordinary Joe Schmoes that are creating success with this company, it helps build belief in what we're doing. And you know what? When you walk out of there, you're going to have some belief in yourself. You're going to look at these average people and you're going to think, if she's doing it, if he's doing it, that old lady on stage is doing it, why the hell can't I? And that's how you walk out of an event. You walk out of there 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Get your ticket, enroll 10 people, get that free room, have a ball, go out with your teammates, party your ass off, but be there at 8 a.m. for the meetings. You don't want to oversleep or walk in there hungover with glasses on. But guys, this is the best. It's like a full-blown like sorority fraternity meet with like healthy people. It's like a rave, but with healthy shake drinkers. It's pretty incredible. So does anyone have any questions or anything that they want to ask about the promotion? enroll 10 and you're getting not only are you getting the free hotel, the cash, and an opportunity to meet and talk with the Cougars, what you're getting is 10 new people that are coming into your business that are going to be fired up. And what I can tell you is any time that I brought 10 into my business, things were a lot more exciting than me bringing one and then another one. You bring in 10 people together, there is fire, there is momentum. People are excited. People are competing with one another. What? She just hit consultant? I'm going to hit consultant too. It's so much more fun. It is not hard to enroll 2 people. If you can commit to having 100 conversations, you will enroll 10 people. I don't care if you have to call Aunt Verna or go to the chiropractor's office down the street. Share your story. Don't make this a bigger deal than what it has to be. The stuff that you think in your head is about 90 times more irrational than what's actually going on in the real world. It's not that serious. Have the conversation. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's talking about you. As soon as you leave there, if they say no, guess what? They're not thinking about you anymore. So just do it. You're helping people. So let's take some questions, comments, any feedback. You guys can just unmute.
I have a quick question. This is Swanee. Hi.
Hello, Swanee.
Hi, Deanna. I saw you in The Rock over here in Miami. I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. That was amazing.
Awesome.
Kelli Calabrese, I have to say I resonate with everything that you talk about. I'm a personal trainer, and you really, when I saw you were interviewed a couple weeks ago with Angela, it was awesome. I don't want to take a lot of time because I know we don't have a lot of time. But I have no problem talking to anybody. I was in the grocery store 2 days ago. One lady looked at a magazine, if we could only lose 100 pounds. And I'm like, turned around and I was like, well, you can. And then we just started with that conversation. Next thing you know, I had her number, I had the cashier's number, and the guy behind me. I have no problem with that. My issue is picking up the phone and calling people. I mean, I know we've had this conversation before, but it's like, how do you enter into the conversation? Now I've gotten it where it's like, I do this normally. I'll call up people and just be like, I keep connected with people, like people that I've known since I was 2 years old, I have 40-year relationships, like my circle is big. But like I have like picking up the phone, I'll pick up the phone and call anybody just to have a conversation. But is that what we're supposed to do? Just have the conversation, and if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. Or, I just don't know how to just get to that point.
Okay, you have to go to like a steam room or like a sauna and decompress because I think it's here. I think you've put so much pressure on your shoulders that you're like,
totally.
It's too. Just call people and say, "What up, girl? How are you doing? How's life? How are the kids? How the baby? I'm doing freaking fantastic." Isogenics naturally weaves into every conversation in my life. But I call people not for the sake of imposing isogenics on them. I call to see how they're doing.
I mean, I do that already. That's just what I do.
Yeah, so get that out of your head. Why are you putting all that on yourself?
Okay.
You're just calling. What would you say, Dee? I think you're a great connector. You have solid relationships. Just call to say hello.
Yeah.
And sometimes it will come up and other times it may not, but you got to learn how to weave it in regardless.
The one thing that I will say is that what I know is that a lot of people don't make the swing when the watermelon's thrown to them, if you know what I'm saying. In other words, Swanee, if you're on the call with somebody and you're just talking, like Angela said, it always comes up. And just like in the grocery store, somebody says 100 pounds, oh, I can help. This may not be you, but I know a lot of people, and I've missed it a few times, which always frustrates me. You're talking to somebody, and you're talking to them, and then you're talking about ice cream or something, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I've been so tired lately. And I mean, I literally had somebody say, my husband just got bit by a brown recluse spider on his foot. I mean, I had that experience. When things like that happen, you have to, it's like insert isogenics. You must, because it's so obvious. And what I find is that a lot of people are like, should I or shouldn't I? Of course, if it happens, naturally in conversation, just make sure that you're actually saying, talking to them and mentioning that you have a solution for that, or,
I mean,
oh my God.
My line is usually, dude, I can help you with that.
But don't make the call with that in mind.
Right. No.
Don't make the call with that in mind, because I think psychologically you're putting so much pressure on yourself that you're giving yourself a little anxiety. Just call it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
But I will say that a lot of the times people don't follow the conversation where it's actually leading them into spotlight.
I can't hear it. There's a background noise that I can't really hear.
Hold on, let me mute everyone.
Okay, we got it. Okay, so what were you just saying? I'm sorry, I caught very little of it.
No, I was just kind of reiterating my point, which was that when your conversation leads naturally into the isogenics conversation, follow it through.
Okay.
And one of the other things that you were just talking about, that one thing that I struggle with is that, we always use the expression dripping on people. And so, yes, you have the conversation, but I find that some people are dripping way too long. Like they don't, it's always like drip, drip, drip. Sometimes you kind of like got to get to the point, because some people, and you have to use your instincts in some way to develop that sometimes people really would prefer that you just tell them why you're calling if you aren't calling about their birthday or something.
Yeah.
Some people would.
I went to, I'm going to get to Ed. I went to get a massage, right? And I really wanted to tell the guy about what I did. And I thought about it so much and so long that I was like 30 minutes into the massage already. And by then it just was going to be really weird. If I would have just said, hello, how's your day? How are you doing? I'm so excited. I gave myself the afternoon off from my at-home business to treat myself because I had a great month. If I would have just naturally worked it in, I think I wouldn't have put so much pressure. But I was like, should I tell him? Should I not say? Should I talk? Should I just be quiet and just enjoy the massage? I gave myself so much in my head that I wound up like shying away, and I never said anything. And I walked out with my tail between my legs. And I vowed then that I'm never going to miss an opportunity because of the head junk. Had I just kept it natural and conversational and not been weird, it would have just come out. It would have just honestly come out in the conversation. People always want to know, how are you doing? What do you do for a living? What have you been up to? It will always come up. But you got to swing the bat, like Deanna said.
I mean, I'm just going to start calling people. Be like, hey, what's up? I know you haven't heard me in 50 years, but I don't care.
Well, yeah, just be you. Just be you. Baby. Ask them 10 questions. Ask them 10 questions. Yeah. How's your family? What's your work life? What have you been up to? How's this one? Just ask them questions. Be interested in their life. Yeah. And the better you are at listening, I promise you the opportunity will come up so much, so often.
Okay.
Ed, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, if I hear somebody say I need to lose 100 pounds, my radar goes off and like, I need to help this person. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I do is I take my phone, I'll pull up like Jill Birth, I'll say, this is a girl on my team that uses the same exact products I use, and we help lose 100 pounds. You got her number, you're talking to her. Can I call you this evening around 8 o'clock and tell you how this all works? Right?
Just capture the appointment.
Like you do the hardest part already. You talk to people. That's what most people are scared of.
That's the thing that I see with me, because it's like I see all these things where it teaches you how to approach people and whatever. I mean, this is what I do. I'm like, oh my God, I love those shoes. I don't care who you are. I'm like. So
yeah, but
you might just be scared to like they're gonna
talk about that.
Yeah. So say
talk about anything.
This is how I got over that. I always say, hey, listen, I'm part of this Boom in June. We have this amazing promotion with this company I partnered up with. Do you know anyone that may be interested in feeling better or losing a couple pounds? Now, here's the most important part after you say that. Shut up. I'm telling you, it's the most important part.
I'm Cuban. It's hard. You get in the hands and everything. It's kind of like Italian,
Well, listen, they're going to tell you what they need.
Okay.
And your job's done because you already have the solution. And I think I was in Kelli or Deanna said, are you ready to start?
Yeah.
You have to,
All good stuff. All good stuff, guys. Thanks.
You know what else you can do, Swanee? You can also just hand them your cell phone and say, I loved connecting with you. Here, find me on Facebook. Add me as a friend. And I literally just give them my phone and let them put in their info. And now you have a friend who's watching you.
All the stuff.
Of course they're going to be watching. And as long as you follow the system on Facebook, you're motivational, you're posting transformation photos, you're giving a fitness tip, you're posting recipes. They're eventually might even come to you. But follow up. It was so great meeting you. I've been looking at your page. You have such a beautiful family. Just keep it cool. You know, doesn't always have to come in. There's a wonderful book called Icebreakers by Big Al. And this wonderful book, Icebreakers, teaches us how to just naturally weave it into the conversation. And he gave a funny example, like if your whole family is over for Thanksgiving, like you don't want to bombard them and start prospecting your family, but he gives great little icebreakers, great little lead-ins, how to make these simple, easy transitions into that conversation.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out.
Yeah, Lynn Hagedorn recommended it, and I picked it up. And a lot of great tips, lots of great verbiage that I've actually started using. But this is a learning experience. You know, I can't throw a knitting ball at you and 2 sticks and say, knit me a sweater. You know what I mean? It takes practice. It takes time with everything that we do. And same with this. I'm learning every day how to be a network marketer. You know, people are like, I don't do sales. And I'm like, awesome, because I don't really either. You know, I don't feel that this is sales. I feel that it's genuinely, passionately connecting with people on a real level. I'll post the link to Amazon for the book. I see you guys are asking about it.
The other book, the book that I got from Kelli Calabrese was the 5-second rule, which is awesome. Changed my life last week. I've been counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 all day.
tons of great tips. I got to teach my husband the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love that.
So thank you for speaking up first and taking the lead. And I appreciate that. You always do. And it always brings so much value.
I always want to make sure I get my question in.
And you do a fantastic job. And I'm sure that every time you ask, someone who didn't have the courage to ask might have been thinking the same thing. So I really appreciate you, Swanee.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any questions for these guys? They're pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know what I did just
You're amazing.
I feel so grateful to have you guys as friends, as teachers, as mentors, to take your time, teach the team.
The law of attraction.
Maybe.
It's the law of attraction. I believe it.
Anyone else? Any questions, comments? Anything you guys want to add to the call? Okay.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say hi.
Hey Jeff, welcome to the team.
Hey, thank you so much. You know, I wish somebody would have approached me when I was 20 years old about this business. I'm really on fire and excited. I'm 48 now, but my mentor came to me at a really good time in my life, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Jeff just joined our team today.
Excellent.
Yeah. We're very excited to have you, Jeff. Did you get any takeaways from this call?
Yeah, and I've been researching a lot on YouTube and the university. It's awesome, the tools and everything that you have, and Isogenics has. I keep wanting to put a T in it when I'm spelling it too. I don't know what's up with that. I had to try to fix spell check. It kept putting a T in it, and I'm like, what? It's not working.
Well, here's a great tip. You don't have to be an expert, and you start by learning. And unlike corporate America, here in network marketing, you grow by working together with your team.
I agree.
The more you ask for assistance and the more 3-way calls you do and the more you ask for help, the better and stronger you'll get. And go to isogenicsbusiness.com. click the Start Here tab, and they give such a beautiful, easy breakdown of where to begin. And it really starts with making your list, learning how to share your 30-second story and the story of others, and utilizing social media in a way that's not going to, you know, vomit isogenics all over, but more create curiosity. It's like Fight Club. You know, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
You don't talk about
it. You know, you want to do a little tango with someone. You don't want to be like, I do isogenics. Yeah. Google it, find it on eBay. You know, you want to create curiosity about the lifestyle, about the community, the culture, and you want people to ask you, hey, Jeff, what are you doing? Wow, you look great. You know, I'm also looking for something that's easy and convenient, but don't embrace the suckiness, because in the beginning, we all suck at this. I feel like the more you do it, you know, and the more times you slip up, the better you become. You really do grow, not just in your business, but as a person. I mean, it's incredible. And the self-development and the trainings that they give are just priceless. So if you guys have not booked your celebration tickets, please do. We're all pushing for 10 enrollments. We're going to have, for my team, I'm doing cool prizes and giveaways, and this is going to be the first prize. Secrets of Six-Figure Women, and it's actually on audio, so someone can literally like stick it in their car and listen to it. So for every time you call, once a week, we're going to do fun. I hope you win this, Ed.
I hope I do too.
Yeah. It sucks being the underdog, one of the only dudes on the team. Well, now you got Jeff and you got Mike.
Hey, there you go.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being on the call. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Swanee. You guys are absolutely amazing. It's been fantastic spending a Monday night with all of you. Let's take this Boom in June challenge and just rock it.
Amen.
Good night, everyone. Let me unmute.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
All right. See you.